You're listening to the Throttle to the Floor podcast. Hey y'all, welcome to today's episode of the Throttle to the Floor podcast. I'm your host, Earnest, here today, and we got a scorcher of an episode tonight. But first, with some other news real quick. First, Denny Hamlin, he was made available to the media on Saturday prior to the NASCAR Cup Series race from Darlington Raceway, and he said that he has no plans to continue racing at least in the Cup Series after 2027, which is when his current contract is set to expire. Hamlin also said on his podcast, Actions Detrimental, that he would like to end off his career with 67 career wins. He's currently at 61 after his win at Las Vegas. I don't know if he's going to get to that many career wins, but just logically, this seems like a good time for Hamlin. He's currently the oldest active full-time driver in the Cup Series at 45 years old, and his co-owned team, 2311 Racing, has now won 4 of the first 6 races of the Cup Series season with Tyler Reddick, which we'll discuss more about Reddick later. And also, real quick, the 12 Hours of Sebring endurance race for IMSA. It was this past weekend. Porsche Penske Motorsport not only secured the overall win following their Rolex 24 victory back in January, but they also secured a 1-2 finish. So, good for them. But we're going to jump in here. First up, we got NHRA from Phoenix, and just the triple digit temperatures were the big storyline this weekend in Phoenix. As start times all weekend were moved up, but despite that, grip and traction was still name of the game in pro stock. We had some big upsets, including Matt Latino, who upset Gainesville winner Matt Hartford in round 1 thanks to a 017 light. And Chris McGahey upset number 1 qualifier and defending Phoenix winner Greg Anderson in round 1 on a hole shot by 8/10,000ths of a second. But then in round 2, just gets absolutely left in the dust on the starting line. But still, great win for that small team. But just, thanks to those mistakes, and it was defending Pro Stock World Champion Dallas Glenn who took advantage and was able to capitalize as he looks to go back-to-back as world champion, but he wins the Pro Stock final over Cody Coughlin for his first win of the year, first win in Arizona, and that's after he finished runner-up the past 2 years here, and it's his 22nd career Pro Stock victory. So Dallas Glenn already, 2 races into the season, he's already looking to be on his way to win another Pro Stock World Championship. But getting into the top field, Doug Coletta got the Mission Foods Too Fast Too Tasty Challenge victory on Saturday before almost being upset in round 1 by Will Smith on Sunday. And then Tony Schumacher beat teammate Rick Ray Racing teammate Clay Millican at a Pedal Fest for his 900th career round victory before Schumacher blew the supercharger off the dragster right off in his round 2 loss to eventual winner Sean Langdon. We'll talk more about him in a few minutes. Gainesville winner Josh Hart lost in round 2 to Leah Pruitt after he smoked the tires down track. But just I want to talk about Maddie Gordon for a minute, as Maddie the Baddie, if you will. But Maddie Gordon makes her second straight semifinal appearance in just her second top field start after beating Tony Stewart in round 2 a day after almost qualifying number 1, but ended up being the number 4 qualifier. But just the momentum and the buzz that she's had around her rookie season, and the momentum that Ron Capps Motorsports has had as a team in general. More on team owner Ron Capps in a few minutes. Just all that momentum just can't be ignored. I mean, she's handled the pressure so well and has just been able to understand what the car is doing underneath her. And just, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that when the Winter Nationals happens in a few weeks, Maddie Gordon is gonna make the final round. Actually, you know what? She might just win the whole thing. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, just the amount of momentum and just passion and drive that she has, she might just go out and win the whole thing. So yeah, bookmark it. Maddie Gordon is gonna win the 2026 NHRA Lucas Oil Winter Nationals. So yeah, we'll see in 3 weeks if we find out if I was right or if I was dead wrong. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably be dead wrong if we're being honest. But that's just my bold prediction, if you will. But back to Phoenix, Leah Pruitt in just her second start back in Top Fuel wins by 19 thousandths of a second over Doug Goleta to advance to the final round. However, it's Sean Langdon, who we mentioned earlier, who beats Leah Pruitt to win the Top Fuel final for his first win of the year, his third straight in Arizona, and his 23rd career win. And Langdon is the first Top Fuel driver ever to win this event here in Phoenix in Arizona in 3 consecutive years, which is just insane. I mean, not that many times have you seen a driver win, 3 consecutive years at any track. I mean, so, Sean Langdon just able to battle through the heat and the tough conditions all week to get his third straight win in Phoenix. But the big storyline at NHRA, class-wise, was definitely Funny Car. J.R. Todd beat Jordan Vandegrift in the Funny Car Mission Foods Too Fast Too Tasty Challenge after Vandegrift beat Chad Green in the semis, thanks to Green going way red. I mean, that was over like 10th of a second. I don't know if something was wrong, if he double-stepped it or what, but just got his timing screwed up or something. But yeah. And then in eliminations, Jack Beckman's rough start continues, as despite being the number 2 qualifier, he was upset in round 1 by Dan Wilkerson. And then Vandegrift beats another John Force Racing teammate in round 1. This week, it's Alexis DeJoria after she double steps and goes red. Austin Prock, after DNQing for the first time in his career 2 weeks ago in Gainesville, he lost in a round 1 tire smoking fest against J.R. Todd. So, I mean, Vandegrift and Prock's old Cornwell Tools ride, if you will. He's 2-0, and Prock, who's now at Taxica Racing this year, 0. So, if we had to say who's got the early leg up in the, I mean, it's not really a trade, but who's got the early leg up between the whole, Proc leaving John Force Racing to go to Tasca, it's definitely John Force Racing with Jordan Vandegrift. So, defending Phoenix winner Paul Lee advanced to the semifinals after Gator Nationals winner Chad Green hit tire smoke immediately. Matt Hagan took down Jordan Vandegrift to advance to the semis after they both lost power and coasted. It was kind of a weird deal, but just, but Jordan Vandegrift, his second start in a Funny Car, wins another round, goes the second round. Pretty productive day for him. But just the man of the hour. We kind of hinted at it earlier. Just Ron Capps, man, what a day was it for him and just all of Ron Capps Motorsports. Is Ron Capps another big time engine explosion at Phoenix, the second year in a row, but this time he wins his round 2 matchup over Dan Wilkerson, and then the team is able to scramble to put the car back together. Capps barely made the call to the lanes for his semifinal matchup, but it doesn't matter. He won that semifinal matchup over defending Phoenix winner Paul Lee, and then Capps beats number 1 qualifier Spencer Hyde, slams the door shut to win the Funny Car final after, again, he blew his engine up in round 2, and they're able to completely rebuild the car and still go on to win this race. So just insanity. I mean, you don't hear about that in other motorsports, but it's Cap's first win since Bristol last June, his 4th win in Arizona, and his 78th overall career victory. So NHRA will return April 9th through the 12th for the NHRA Lucas Oil Winter Nationals. And the winner in Funny Car will be the winner of the 1,000th Funny Car race all time and will receive a special unique trophy in addition to the 75th anniversary Diamond Wally. So Funny Car's got extra motivation on the line when we get to Pomona, California, but we'll see. But from one hot historic weekend, we go to another, as NASCAR this past weekend was at the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame, Darlington Raceway, with all three top series in action. We start with trucks. I mean, I want to start with just Ben Rhodes. Such a tough deal, tough DNF for my girlfriend Haley. Flat tire into the wall on lap 2. Just Ben Rhodes' night ended before it began, pretty much. But then Christian Eckes won stage 1, and Caden Honeycutt, man, just it looked like Honeycutt was gonna win this race, as he ran up front for much of this race, won stage 2, but then he was starting to slid back late before a late race caution. Hocevar broke something. It was like a shock or a shock mount or something, but he got into the wall and spun out from the lead as Ross Chastain was right behind him. But but that set up overtime. In overtime, there was a wreck in 1 and 2 after Tyler Ankrum got up into the wall. It looked like a bunch of trucks piled up behind him, but not really. I mean, it looked a lot worse than it did. And then in double overtime, it looked like Ross Chastain was going to score the Truck Series win, but Corey Heim, who this week was in the number 5 Tricon garage truck, not the 1 truck, the 5 truck this time, but he goes from 9th to 1st in just 2 laps on that last restart, with fresher scuffed tires to score the victory. Such a clean slide job in 3 and 4 by Heim to get the victory. It's Corey Heim's 2nd straight win at Darlington after he won there last fall, and his 24th career Truck Series win. And Heim also secured $50,000 for winning the first race of the Triple Truck Challenge. Our point standings: Stacy leads Bernardo by 27, Evan by 95, Noah by 116, me by 163, and Haley by 165. Our picks: I picked Grant Enfinger. He had like a 12th to 15th place truck all night, but with the double overtime, like a little bit of chaos, like just a little bit of chaos. He was able to get up there and finish 7th, so we stopped the bleeding. I'm still very far back in the Truck Series point standings, but we managed to stop the bleeding. Evan picked Caden Honeycutt, finished 4th, led 59 laps from the pole, which was the most laps led. Just what could have been for Caden Honeycutt. I mean, this was the first outing that I can say that Caden Honeycutt in that 11 truck should have won this race, or had a chance to win this race. And ironically, it was Corey Heim who won this race, just not in the 11 truck. Haley, as we mentioned, picked Ben Rhodes, finished last in 36th, DNF'd after that lap 2 wall contact. Stacy picked Chandler Smith, who only could finish 17th. Noah picked Justin Haley, who quiet day, in 15th, and Bernardo was the big winner, with Corey Heim led 28 laps to the victory. That's why he was able to cut a lot of that points gap, only 27 back now to Stacy. Getting into O'Reilly's now. In the Truck Series, we had Caden Honeycutt, who looked like he was going to win after he led much of the race. In O'Reilly's, it was Kyle Larson. He was filling in for Alex Bowman, who was scheduled to run the 88 JRM car, but of course, with his vertigo symptoms, he was not able to drive, so Larson jumped in for him, took off from the pole with the lead and dominated to sweep the stages, won both stage 1 and stage 2. Tough day for RCR. Austin Hill with early issues after getting into the wall, and then he got caught up in a later wreck. But he ends up not being able to recover and finish this race in 35th, 5 laps down when it was all said and done. So not a good day for Austin Hill. And Jesse Love got spun around on pit road and started stage 2 in the rear. I believe he still finished like 11th, but just not a good day for RCR in general. Also, Ross Chastain got spun around on pit road later in the race. He never really had much of a contending car and came home in 14th place in the O'Reilly Series, unlike the truck race the prior night where he was a couple corners away from winning the truck race until Corey Heim came out of nowhere. Brandon Jones then took the lead to start stage 3, but Justin Allgaier, just those last 2 restarts, he was able to just drive by Brandon Jones, drive by on the outside, and take the lead. But Larson took the lead back with 33 to go, and then that late wreck, as we mentioned, with Austin Hill and with Kyle Sieg. Everybody took tires with like 20 to go. Brandon Jones again won the race off pit road, but then Allgaier took the lead back on the outside, held off Brandon Jones. Larson wasn't able to catch up either. So Justin Allgaier ends up winning this race. It's Allgaier's second win of the year after Phoenix a couple weeks ago. His 4th win at Darlington, his 30th career O'Reilly Series win, and Allgaier is the 5th driver to win at least 4 races at Darlington. Big shakeup in the O'Reilly Series standings. I'm now the points leader in O'Reilly's by 15 over Stacy, 46 over Bernardo, 83 over Haley, 126 over Evan, and 140 over Noah. Our picks, a big reason why I took that points lead was I picked Brandon Jones, who finished second after leading 9 laps. There were only 4 leaders in this entire race, and I was one of them. And as you'll see, Haley was another, but we'll get to her in a minute. Evan picked Sam Mayer, who finished in 10th, just kind of a quiet day. Honestly, just Haas Factory team in general had kind of a quiet day, although Creed definitely made a lot more ground up. Just Mayer just with a quiet day, a lot better than Las Vegas, where despite finishing second in stage 1, he had that power and fuel pickup issue. So, yeah, Mayer definitely will gladly take a 10th over 30-something place finish. So, Haley's mentioned was able to lead some laps, led 31 laps with Justin Allgaier. That's right, Haley won this race and got the fastest lap. So, Haley is the big winner, makes up a ton of ground in the point standings after tough handful of races to start the year. Stacy, the big reason why she slipped out of the points lead is because she picked Jesse Love, who finished 11th, and Bernardo lost a lot of ground too. He unfortunately picked Austin Hill, who finished back in 35th, and Noah with Harrison Burton, just a quiet 22nd. It looked like Harrison Burton had an alright car. I mean, he qualified not too bad, just didn't really go anywhere. That's O'Reilly's for you. But getting into the big show for Cup, there's been a lot of split opinions on the new package this past weekend. A lot of people complaining, and it's like, I don't really think the race was all that bad. I mean, say what you will about the package, but I mean, people who said that race was boring, you expect Wreckfest. You expect half the field to get wrecked like it's Talladega every single weekend. Sometimes you just have good, clean, hard racing. I mean, we saw it a lot, but I want to give a shout out to Darrell Waltrip. He went up to the booth and he really said his trademark boogity boogity boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Said that phrase again to get us going for the first time since his last race as a full-time broadcaster, which of course real ball knowers know, was Sonoma 2019 when MTJ scored the victory. I remember that very well. Just great to hear from Darrell Waltrip. And not only was it great to hear, it sounded like prime Darrell Waltrip from early 2000s. So that was great. But Tyler Reddick, he took off and led from the pole, which backed up his blistering fast qualifying lap from back on Saturday, until he had a bad alternator, which required a battery replacement, and then he had a terrible pit stop from the lead. So, yeah, some tough early race issues for Reddick. That's not the only issues he'd had from this race. Brad Keselowski inherited the lead after pit stops. He goes on to win stage 1, and then some more pit road issues. Blaney had a loose lug nut on pit road, and Bubba Wallace had trouble on the left front of the car. Larson won the race off pit road. Then early in stage 2, Eric Jones spun in 3 and 4 off the front of Denny Hamlin. Bubba got into the wall too. That kind of ended Bubba's day after starting on the front row alongside teammate Tyler Reddick. Just Bubba did not have a great day after that. Chris Buescher tried to run down teammate Brad Keselowski. RFK in general was just really good in this race, but Keselowski goes on to sweep the stages. He also won stage 2, and then at the start of stage 3, Chase Briscoe passed Keselowski for the lead before Riley Herbst spun on the front stretch for what would become the final caution of the race. There was only 4 cautions this entire race, 2 of them for the stage breaks, and then Jones's spin and Herbst's spin. So, pretty clean race, but that doesn't mean that they weren't racing hard. They were racing pretty hard. But as if Reddick didn't have enough problems, late in the race he started to have cool suit issues. That's right, another cool suit failure. We're talking about this again. We talked about it at the end of when we were recapping the COTA race. So I mean, we're just dealing with these same issues again. It's like, what are they making these cool suits out of or something? Yeah, but it still looked like Brad Keselowski was going to snap his almost 2-year-long winless streak with another win at Darlington, as he snapped a almost 3-year winless streak with his most recent win, which was Darlington in the spring race in 2024. So he was looking to win again at Darlington to snap an almost 2-year-long winless streak, but Tyler Reddick had fresh tires and was able to run down Brad Keselowski despite the alternator issue, replacing the battery, the bad pit stop, and just the cool suit failure, all of that. He was able to run down Brad Keselowski, took the lead with under 30 to go, and just also shout out to Carson Hocevar, as he had a fast car in practice, but despite picking up damage in qualifying, I mean, which caused them to start last in 36th. They, got repairs done and whatnot. And yet they drove all the way up from dead last, all the way back in the trunk, to 4th place at the finish. So great run for Carson Hocevar in that 1981 Dale Earnhardt Sr. Wrangler scheme. So yeah, great scheme, great finish for Hocevar. And then also, just despite Larson having a broken toe link, plus Briscoe and Herbst getting into the wall late, NASCAR chose to not throw the caution. I don't know if it warranted a caution. I think, they did tell Larson that he needed to speed up to make minimum speed, but I don't know. Larson was rolling around pretty slow for a long time, so I don't know, and he kept missing pit road. So debatable on whether that was a caution or not, at least from my point of view, but I don't think it caused too much of an issue with NASCAR keeping it green. They kept it green. So, yeah, so it ends up being Tyler Reddick, who comes back from a bad alternator, replacement battery, broken cool suit, terrible pit stop while leading. And yet he wins his first race at Darlington, his 4th win of the year through just the first 6 races, and his 12th career win. Reddick now becomes just the 3rd driver ever to win 4 of the first 6 races in a year, after Dale Earnhardt Sr. in 1987 and Bill Elliott in 1992. And Toyota's now won 5 of the first 6 races to start the year, Reddick with 4 of them, and then, ironically, the other 2311 co-owner besides Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, he won at Las Vegas, for Joe Gibbs Racing. But Toyota with 5 of the first 6 races with a win. It's the first time that's happened in Cup since Chevy did it back in 2007. That was before I was alive. So it's been quite a long time, almost 20 years at this point. But standings after Darlington, Stacy leads Bernardo by 37, me by 39, Haley by 93, Noah by 115, and Evan by 143 are picks. I picked William Byron. He did not have a dominant start, or he did not have a dominant race like he did at Darlington last year, but just a quiet run. I mean, he ran 6th to 12th all day, finished 8th. It's about all I could ask for out of him. Evan had a tough day with Christopher Bell finishing 19th. Just JGR in general, they all ran 15th to 20th basically all day. But, Briscoe showed speed late. Ty Gibbs showed speed late. Hamlin was just kind of especially after contact and spinning Eric Jones, but Bell just went nowhere. And speaking of Briscoe, despite that late wall contact, which cost Briscoe probably a top 5, Briscoe ends up finishing 12th. That was Haley's pick, led 4 laps. Stacy picked Blaney, who finished 3rd. Big reason why she kept the points lead. Blaney somehow came back to finish 3rd after that loose lug nut. He had a loose lug nut, and then he went to a different pit stall to make sure to tighten it. So good heads up to where Blaney didn't end up losing the wheel, because that would have been really bad. Bernardo picked Brad Keselowski, finished 2nd, led 142 laps, which was the most laps. It looked like Brad Keselowski was going to win this race, and I will say, I think Brad Keselowski had the fastest car during this race. It's just when it came time for crunch time, Reddick had fresh tires, and that's that's all she wrote. So, and Noah picked Ty Gibbs, who finished 6th, led a lap. I'm impressed with Ty Gibbs. He came into this race with 3 straight top 5s. We all kind of have doubted him just because he's Ty Gibbs, but still came home in 6th. So, it's tough. Is Ty Gibbs closer to a win than Carson Hocevar? It's tough. Ty Gibbs has been running good, and usually when you run good like this, Ty Gibbs had 3 straight top 5s, and now, and then he comes to Darlington and finishes 6th. Usually when you're running good, you're going to get a chance and be in contention to win races. But at the same time, Hocevar's been in contention to win races too. He led on the last lap of the Daytona 500 before getting wrecked. He finished 4th at Atlanta back in February, which makes it feel like it was a while ago, but not really. It was only about a month ago. But he finished 4th at Atlanta, and he finished 4th at Darlington. So, Hocevar's been up there too. But if I had to say, I'm just going to say this. I feel like Gibbs is like a half a step ahead of Hocevar right now in terms of who do I think has a slightly better chance to get their first career win, but it is close. You could practically flip a coin at this rate. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them get their first career wins this year, but we'll see. But we've got NASCAR Cup and O'Reilly's heading to the Paperclip at Martinsville for the first time this year. Trucks are off once again, as well as IndyCar after their one-off week to start the year. They're heading down to Barber Motorsports Park for a road course showdown in Alabama this weekend, and that preview and all that'll be coming to you Friday. But that's all we got for today's episode of the Throttle podcast. Make sure you tune in and listen and watch and download on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the Chill Photography and Throttle podcast Instagrams and TikTok accounts. And that's all we got for today's episode of Throttle podcast. It's still ingrained in my brain to say that, because I used to always only do one episode a week, but now I do multiple at this rate. But yeah, that's all we got for today's episode of the Throttle podcast, and we will see y'all on Friday.